617 writers. 617 writers. And that's what we got last night. 24 hours earlier, Monday Night Raw, I was actually telling you guys they were showing a pulse. They were showing signs of life. I like what they were doing with Seth Rollins Monday night. I like the direction Roman Reigns was headed Monday night. I loved what they were doing with Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater in that backstage segment Monday night. I love the fact that they promoted a damn good main event Monday night. Now, of course, ended up being a train wreck because that's what WWE does. But the fact that they promoted a badass main event is a start. I liked it. Signs of life. A pulse. But then 24 hours later, just last night on SmackDown Live, those 617 writers with the lead dumb schmuck at the helm, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, they were right back to doing what they do best, putting all of us to sleep, or much worse, into a coma. And if you're going to try to tell me, BC, I kind of liked it though. There was a lot of last night I liked, BC. Then I am going to call you one of the dumbest schmucks I have ever seen in my life because you are not helping this product. You're just destroying it by telling Vince McMahon this shit is good. You're the type of person that'll sit down at your favorite restaurant every single week and order the same exact meal, never changing it up. I'd like an appetizer of mediocrity, please. Main dish, yeah, make it mediocrity. And for dessert, give me a side dish of mediocrity. All right, sir, but would you like something to drink with your meal? Of course, a tall glass of mediocrity. Duh. There was only two things last night. Two things. Two segments, and they added up to equal maybe 5 minutes. Two things I really enjoyed last night. Two things that were actually entertaining last night. And again, unfortunately, it only equaled 5 minutes of TV time. The review of those two segments will probably be longer, or right at the 5 minutes. The other hour and 55 minutes? Lord help us all! I gave you a little overlay, didn't I, of what's to come in this review, and we're going to tear this shit apart, trust me, because to say that this was mediocre would be doing it an injustice. I wouldn't be being truthful. See, mediocre is kind of average, right? This was below average. This was the aforementioned word that I used. It was a shitstorm. And I'm going to tear it up in just a few minutes. But I'll start off with the two things that I actually enjoyed last night. And I'm going to start off with Alexa Bliss and Bayley. Bayley was on a moment of bliss last night. And Alexa Bliss, again, didn't want to start a moment of bliss until she gets her coffee. Bayley comes out instead of her little sidekick. It's Bayley that comes out with her coffee and starts sipping it right in front of Alexa Bliss. So already, we know the rules. As grown-ups in the coffee world, in the real world, when you start drinking somebody else's coffee, the gloves are off, the fight is on. That already pisses off Alexa Bliss. But then they start getting really personal. This face-to-face, they start going tit for tat, and they start honestly getting beyond personal, like the shit we know backstage to be true, because Sasha Banks has pretty much said so. Bayley, in a roundabout way, has said so. Alexa Bliss has not been shy about throwing jabs at Bayley and Sasha Banks in shoot interviews. We know there's backstage drama and heat, and they kind of brought that to the forefront last night. I loved it. As I said over on my Twitter, Bayley comes out with Alexa's coffee, gloves are off, and as I left on Twitter, they got personal and it got believable real quick. A lot of truth was slung around. Line delivery, spot on. They really delivered last night, man. They really took it to another level. To where even if you're not a smart fan, even if you're just a casual fan and you didn't know about the backstage drama, you're looking at them two and you're saying, wow, they have a lot of history together. They have a lot more that they need to settle in the middle of that ring. I'm not saying us smart fans are now yearning to see this match Sunday. No. But I'm saying it does add an extra level. Listen, I know. I remember the match they had at Extreme Rules. That was the opposite of Extreme. It was one of the worst matches I've ever seen in the history of pro wrestling. So I'm not saying I'm yearning to see this match. Absolutely not. But when you can tell a story beautifully and add another layer to why we give a shit about this match, then I'm on board. There was one point where Alexa looked at Bayley and literally said, "You come out here with your Bayley buddies dressed like you work at Forever 21. But I see through you," she said. She said, "You're not just this, oh, I'm one of you. I'm achieving my dreams. No, you're a liar and you're a bully," is basically what Alexa told Bayley. But I love that line. "You come out here with your Bayley buddies like you're and dressed like you work at Forever 21. That was an oh moment, man. Or at least a zinger. I loved it. And then Bayley comes back and says, "Listen, you just sucked in NXT. Alexa was telling Bayley, you always basically bullied me. You were always rude to me. Only Charlotte always kind of watched out for me and would talk to me." And Bayley told Alexa, "It's because you sucked. We all wanted to be the best and we were going to work our asses off for it. You ran your mouth to try to get to the top. You ran around the locker room and hung around the right people to get to the top." Boom! Zingers from Bayley to Alexa now. Again, the gloves were off and I love this shit. It got really personal real quick. It got real believable and into the realm of reality because it was reality. Sometimes the best storylines in pro wrestling or anything in life is when life imitates art and vice versa. That's the best storylines. So I love this, man. It all ended with a little schmaz. Bayley had enough, attacked Alexa Bliss, or Alexa attacked Bayley, one of the two. It didn't matter because Nikki Cross ended up getting involved for Alexa Bliss. And when it was all said and done, it was Bayley who was flat on her ass. And Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss kind of made a statement, I guess you could say. But the real statement was Bayley and Alexa going tit for tat and really trying to send each other knockout blows in that face-to-face interview promo. That was fucking badass, man. I really enjoy that shit, and I'm glad that they brought that backstage shit and put it out there for the world to see, because a lot of the fan base already knows. Why try to hide that shit? You got a match nobody's interested in anyway. You got nothing to lose. Swing for the fences and try to hit the Grand Slam. A very well done moment of bliss. And again, who would have thought on a 2-hour show we'd be saying Moment of Bliss was one of the best entertaining segments last night? But that's the case. You look on social media, it's not just the Amplified man. Most people are saying such. And I'm telling you right now, it's just truth. When you get something like that on a mediocre, lackluster, boring show, it's going to stick out tenfold. The other thing that I thoroughly enjoyed was the 24/7 title segment. Again, this was about a minute long. Wish there was more to it. Wish there was more substance. But hey, it's still one of the most entertaining, one of only 2 entertaining segments we got last night. So, beggars can't be choosers, we'll take it. I can't help but think of all the naysayers when the 24/7 title first came onto the scene. And they were like, "It's dead on arrival. This is stupid. It's bringing down the company." No, everything else is bringing down the company. That is just a minute on every show of entertainment. That's all that is. It's supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be a little bit of a sideshow, but it's supposed to be entertaining. And it is. It absolutely is the one entertaining segment on every show, it seems. And last night, you had the same fucking shit. Carmella, or who we thought was Carmella, at first glance, it didn't really look like her, did it? But the camera panned too fast. R-Truth is running through the parking lot. He's trying to escape and ride off into the sunset with Carmella. But Carmella's not joining him, so Truth stops and says, "Carmella, let's go." And Carmella ends up and turns out to be Drake Maverick. So Maverick is dressed up as Mella. R-Truth is shook. Wait, what? He doesn't understand what's going on. The confusion for R-Truth sets in, and this allows Drake Maverick to roll up Truth, and he gets leverage on the SUV that Truth was about to ride off in, or end up being the referee's SUV. We'll get to that in a second. But Maverick uses the SUV as leverage and actually pins R-Truth. Gets the 24/7 title, gets into this SUV that clearly isn't his. The referee is yelling, "Wait, that's mine. That's my car. That's my car." And Drake Maverick is screaming out, I got a wedding to go to. I'm the new champ. I'm the champ. I got a wedding to go to. And he starts peeling off. And the referee's chasing him down. That's my car. Truth is left on his ass. And he just says, Carmella's getting married? I loved it, man. I really did, man. It's that type of... Oh, I just needed that. And that happened so late into the show. I think that was like the final half an hour. By that point, I was just drained. This show literally drained the Amplified, man, to the point where I had nothing more to give. You could put on anything fucking... a 5-star classic wrestling match at that point. It wouldn't have mattered. I was drained. But that segment literally had me LOL, man. I literally got to the edge of my seat and I was like, this is good. Because not just for what it did there, for the 1 minute of entertainment there, but what it sets up. If they choose to put thought in this, R-Truth could be a wedding crasher. Maverick said in last week's Raw when they were trapped in the elevator that he's got this wedding. And that was a big focal point of them being trapped in the elevator. Was Drake Maverick getting married and they all kind of bonded. Then last night, he steals the referee's SUV and rides off saying he's got to go to his wedding. Isn't this what the 24/7 title was made for? R-Truth, think about this. Showing up to, crashing Drake Maverick's wedding. Whether it's next week or the week before, you put up a mock wedding. You have when the priest, the reverend, whatever you want to call it, when he says, does anybody have anything to say before I announce them husband and wife? Does anybody, what's he say? Does anybody, I don't know. Does anybody go against this or some shit? He says, I want Milla to raise her hand, cause the distraction. Out of nowhere, Truth from behind rolls up or puts a fucking chair to the back of Drake Maverick. Whatever. But I want, when Carmella causes the distraction, Truth from behind collects his championship at the wedding, basically ruining the wedding. Maverick has a choice to make. I can continue my wedding and just cut my losses, or I can chase after that title. And he leaves his bride-to-be at the altar and he chases R-Truth. Come on, bro. Get creative, have some fun. This title was not created for everyone to just chase each other around the arena. No, this was for these type of moments. The moments where you had Jinder Mahal on the golf course and it got millions of views over the course of all the social media platforms. This is what it's for. This is what people love, these type of segments. Let's go to the wedding. R-Truth wedding crasher. Give it to us. Come on, Vince. You know you wanna. You know you wanna do it. You just don't want to give us something entertaining. Do it, buddy. I dare ya. I triple dog dare ya. Little Christmas story. I love it, man. Just thinking of that. This could lead to that, man. If they get smart, if they listen to the people, and they want to do something entertaining for us, you put R-Truth at Drake Maverick's wedding and you let the fun ensue, man. Because that's the next logical step. You're telling a story, right? He just pinned R-Truth. He took off with the ref's SUV. He's heading to his wedding. At some point, not necessarily right away, but his wedding's coming up. Wouldn't that be a fun way for this 24/7 title to really stand out for what it's meant to be? 24/7, anywhere in the fucking world? Truth shows up with a referee to Drake Maverick's, or maybe one of the referees is a guest at Maverick's wedding. And Truth is yelling over to him, you know, like John Cone's just sitting in there like he's a good friend of Maverick. Oh shit, I gotta count, I'm a ref. I can think of so much creativity, man, creative shit. But that's why I loved it. Not just because it gave me a minute of entertainment last night, but just what it does in the future. And just thinking about a badass wedding segment between Truth and Maverick. Possibilities are endless. But that's where the laughing and that's where the fun kind of ends in this review, guys. Those were the two good things last night. Moment of bliss, 24/7 title. Who would have thought? Everyone likes to shit on Alexa Bliss in her moment of bliss. Everybody likes to shit on the 24/7 title, the loudmouths on social media. But it's always going to be the most entertaining shit because Vince doesn't know how to give us anything of worthiness, of prestige with his actual titles. Enjoy it while we have it. Those were the two good things last night. They equaled maybe 5-6 minutes tops. And then we went in to the shit show that was SmackDown Live. And we'll start from the top. The New Day. They start off SmackDown Live. The new fucking day. New day, same old shtick, right? There's times where the New Day is fun and they can be entertaining, and then most of the time they're just stale. They're boring to me. It's time to move on. Big E needs his own singles run. Kofi needs to start acting like he's the champion and being showcased as such. Nowadays, you just have the New Day coming down, and it's automatically just this nauseous feeling because you know there's either going to be a 6-man tag or there's going to be a 10-minute nonsensical promo that's going to put everyone to sleep. Kofi Kingston is just 1/3 of the New Day, still tossing pancakes to a bunch of five-year-olds in the crowd. That's all Kofi Kingston is. Your significant other, you got a buddy that doesn't watch pro wrestling and they're looking on and they're like, which one's the champ? You gotta actually fucking pinpoint them because there's multiple people coming out. Hardly is he by himself. Or hoisting up that championship or showcasing the championship. No, he's showcasing a platter of pancakes for the 5-year-olds in attendance. That's what we get. We got the New Day in the middle of the ring, and they start talking about some weird shit. It's going to be Freaky Hour or something. I don't even know where they're going, what realm they're into. Thankfully, I can't believe I'm saying this, Dolph Ziggler breaks that up. Dolph Ziggler comes out and breaks up everybody's nap that everyone unconsciously slumped into. Unfortunately, they just redid the exact promo and build that they did for weeks leading up to Super Showdown. This was the exact promo that they used up to Super Showdown. Dolph Ziggler screaming, it should have been me. Kofi Kingston screaming, I'm going to show you why I'm champion. Dolph screaming back, I'm going to be champion. It's like they just joined Braun Strowman's, 5th grade graduation party. And everybody didn't have a juice box in their lunchbox. They discovered that there was no Capri Sun in their lunchboxes, and they all started flipping out at the party. That's all this was. The only thing to save us from this back and forth between Dolph and Kofi, again, the only thing to save us, I can't believe I'm saying this, was a commercial break. A commercial we were actually looking forward to. I felt like all my ex-girlfriends back in the day when we used to watch the Super Bowl, and they'd always be watching just for the commercials. I really like the one with the squirrel and the M&Ms, BC. That's great. I like the football game. Can you shutty? But now I don't blame them. Something was so fucking boring to me, the commercials seemed interesting. When we come back from commercial, you got Xavier Woods taking on Dolph Ziggler. All of that, that's what I mean. All of that was just to lead into Xavier and Dolph. A decent wrestling match, at least. Xavier put in a good effort, at least. But it was to no avail. A super kick at the end of this thing ends the match and Xavier's momentum. Dolph Ziggler ends up winning. Obviously, this was just to build Dolph's momentum to get the Super Showdown. So he beats Xavier Woods. But what does this do for Dolph at Super Showdown or for our interest? Did that come out right? Yes. For our interest. I can fucking speak. What did it do for our interest? Nothing! Nobody actually believes Dolph Ziggler is going to win Sunday, right? Knowing Vince, though, watch Dolph walk out. Watch all of this WrestleMania victory for Kofi Kingston in his title reign. All of this was for Dolph to get the title. Watch Vince do something like that. But I doubt very much that's the direction they're going to. And again, it's a rematch. A steel cage is not going to make it any more interesting. You could put him in the Pacific Ocean. It won't make it interesting. So that was the first half an hour of SmackDown. Luckily, after that is when we got the moment of bliss. So something entertaining followed that. That was pretty good. But then we were right back to just nonsensical bullshit. Heavy Machinery taking on the B Team. Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan were on headset, or at least Daniel Bryan was. Daniel Bryan was the best part of this match because he's actually funny. He actually has a character, some charisma, a personality. So that was fucking damn good to hear, at least. But in the ring, I'm thinking just last week you had Heavy Machinery taking out jobbers. That's the way you build them up. Why do you have to sacrifice the B Team and make them look like absolute jokes more than you already made them look just for a 60-second squash against Heavy Machinery? You might as well have just put them in there with two more local bums, if you will. Shit, fly down the Lolo County ex-champions and have them want a rematch. That's kind of funny. That's more interesting than the B Team in there with Heavy Machinery. That's what I mean. Jobber matches could have done the same thing that Heavy Machinery were trying to get across last night, the same point, than B Team gave them. The whole thing was just a 60-second squash match. So just put them in there with jobbers. Don't sacrifice your actual talent. Post-match, Rollins attacks the B Team, chair in hand, for taking a meeting with Corbin earlier in the night. The B Team were kind of outside of Corbin's office. I don't even know why he still has an office. Maybe it was just supposed to be a dressing room, but he has his own fucking thing for a dressing room. That's fucking odd. It's not like he's Brock Lesnar. He doesn't get that treatment. Or maybe he still does. After all, he does get to pick his own special referee Sunday, which I do believe is going to be Brock Lesnar. So maybe he does get his own fucking office or his own fucking signature on his locker room. But just the fact that the B Team talked to Corbin, Seth Rollins shows up. And that's what I mean. You devalued Seth Rollins last night. The fans didn't give him the ultimate pop because it was out of nowhere, but not in a cool moment. It's cool. If it's a cool moment and you're out of nowhere, you're going to get a huge pop because that's fucking exciting. That's a shock. But when it was really for no reason and it's to the poor B Team of all people, and that's your champion, that's one of your superstars in this company, and he just arrives in the middle of SmackDown to take out the B Team. That doesn't really make Rollins look strong, and it's not getting everyone like, whoa, it's Rollins, this is amazing. No, I would have used Rollins a million times better if that's what you're bringing him to SmackDown for. Now, obviously, later in the night, they had a little bit more for Rollins, didn't they? Yeah, we'll get to that in a fucking minute. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's move on. Hour number fucking 2. I can't say that hour number 2 was any better than hour number 1. I'll tell you that. Maybe even more fucking tragic. Hour 2 starts with Shane McMahon telling Owens and Zayn that they'll be taking on Rollins and Kofi later in the night in the main event. As I said at the top of this video, wasn't Kofi just taking on Zayn and Owens last night or on Monday Night Raw? Kofi Kingston was taking on Zayn and Owens in a 2 out of 3 fall match on Monday night. Corbin was with Zayn and Owens, and Kofi had his New Day brethren. All you're doing now is you're taking out the New Day members and you're putting in Seth Rollins. But it's the same match. They even made it the same rules, 2 out of 3 falls. So how is that exciting or interesting? Rhetorical. It's not. So that's how we start the second hour, by telling us, don't worry, if you're bored already, we have more boredom for you later in the night. Then it takes 10 fucking minutes of a back and forth promo between Shane and The Miz just to set up another nonsensical tag match. Miz and R-Truth versus Drew and Elias. Elimination rules to make it more exciting. Did that make it any more exciting for you? They're trying new shit, BC. They made this elimination rules. Great, that just means the match will be even fucking longer. Elias pins R-Truth first. Now, wouldn't that make Elias the new 24/7 champion? That's what I mean. This makes no sense. Why would Truth be in this match? Do the backstage segment you had him doing with Drake Maverick. That's enough. That's all we need right now. Or if he's in a match, you can't have it. You could have easily just made this not elimination rules and had R-Truth not lose the match. There's a concept. It's 24/7. It doesn't matter if it's a match within a match. He lost to Elias. Elias would be the new champ. Benjamin comes out. That's right, Shelton Benjamin. He just takes the 24/7 title after Truth loses, as if you don't need to pin the champion. But as Elias showed, even if you pin the champion, that doesn't necessarily mean you win the title. But Benjamin just kind of steals it and runs around the fucking ring a little bit until the referee is trying to tell him, no, you need to pin Truth. This little distraction of the referee trying to tell Shelton Benjamin the rules causes R-Truth to be able to sweep in, steal his belt back, and run through the crowd. And the chase is on. The entire locker room is now chasing R-Truth through the crowd. I'm done with that bullshit, but I love what happened with Drake Maverick and R-Truth backstage and in the parking lot. That's the shit we need to see more of. But that is what led to that backstage parking lot moment between Drake Maverick and R-Truth. But I didn't need any of that. The tag match itself was bullshit. And a night full of more tag matches. Nonsensically speaking, of course. And then that just nonsensical tag match led right into the next tag match. This was your main event. Rollins and Kofi versus Zayn and Owens, 2 out of 3 falls. It's basically the same match you saw Monday night. Just a rematch. Just you swap out some of the characters. And Zayn and Owens are buried even more than we're used to. Monday night they're buried. Last night they didn't even get a fall. I believe Rollins and Kofi won both falls. Zayn and Owens got nothing. This was stupidity in every fucking way imaginable. That was SmackDown. I can't even say anything more because there's nothing more. These 617 writers with Vincent Kennedy McMahon at the helm, this is the night they gave us. 2 hours of what is supposed to be entertainment. 2 hours of something we're supposed to be intrigued with, and they give us B-Team and Heavy Machinery. They give us Rollins and Kofi versus Zayn and Owens, 2 out of 3 falls, basically a rematch from Monday. They give you Miz and R-Truth versus Drew and Elias. Are you not entertained? Oh no, I'm sorry. There's gonna be those some people. BC, I enjoyed the night, BC. I actually enjoyed it thoroughly, BC. I don't know what everyone's complaining about. I guess to each their own, BC. I liked it. Have I not taught you anything? How are you following this channel if you liked that last night? You can't just throw a bunch of tag team matches together. No fucking reason, no build, no excitement, and think that you just created an awesome show. Just so you can go on with your XFL business, if you're Vince McMahon. Or Triple H can go on to his NXT business. Or Stephanie McMahon can try to get more fucking advertising to the product. Or go over and try to get some more charities to back up WWE so WWE looks like they're some fucking special entity in the world and they're making a difference. How about you all stop what you're doing and come back to this product that heavily needs attention put into it and given to it? This is not acceptable. The Amplified Man, that's all I'm going to say about it, guys. Clearly, we're in a little new setup. Don't get too used to it. There's a little revamping going on in the main lounge area, if you will. So, we're back in the traditional office today. I don't mind. I miss the old office, but I like the new lounge that we do business in now. It's much more spacious for me. And I got the big the TV screen right next to me as well if I ever need to research something real quick and fax. I like that. You know, it's hooked up to the old computer. The good one. The office actually has an old... why am I telling you? You don't give a fucking shit. So anyway, that was SmackDown Live. I'll see you guys, obviously, for an impromptu video during the week. In this weekend, look out for the 21st ever BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified podcast. Obviously, in that podcast, we'll have the full Stomping Grounds preview, as if you even need it. It's just rematches. But I'll go over it with you anyway so we can all get amplified and boggle our minds even more with this fucking shitty product that we have today. Habit and hope, guys. Habit and hope is why we keep tuning in. Because Lord knows it ain't anything else. The Amplify Man saying check you.
Oh, BC, you seem frustrated. Why don't you come over here and let a real southern lady entertain you for just a while?
Actually, Lacey, I haven't had Southern Pie in a long time. Get on the bed and spread 'em.
Oh, BC, I love when you talk Larry to me. Why don't you give me some of that New York Empire?